Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all having a good Sunday today, isn't it? And the talk of the town today, of course, is Omid Scobie and his upcoming book, which I believe is going to be released on Tuesday, Endgame. Now, as I said a few videos back, in fact, there was a video I titled Endgame equals the end of the game for Meghan and Harry. I think this one, that's the kibosh, isn't it, really? That talk about terrible timing. Now, what I would say is a book takes some time to publish, right? First, it's got to be written, obviously, and then it takes time proofreading and then going to print. So at what point he had the final copy and it had gone off for proofreading and then the green light to go to the publishers, I'm not sure, 6 months ago, maybe longer, but from the extracts that I've heard so far coming out, I would suggest that, yes, Meghan and Harry have helped write this. I mean, he admits they have friends in common. I personally believe he talks to them directly, and the reason I believe that is because of Finding Freedom. And even before the revelations that came out in court with Judge Warby and Jason North, I already suspected that they had helped him write the book, and I suspect the same with this one. And also, I saw in an interview he admitted lying about his age. He pretended he was 6 years younger than he was. I remember everybody going on about that at the time, but I mean, he's actually admitted that. He's admitted he's a liar. He is nicknamed Meghan's mouthpiece, her puppet, Harry's puppet journo. Those are the nicknames. I'm very glad to see that, because then Judge Charlene Honeywell will no longer be under the misapprehension that Omid Scobie is a well-renowned royal correspondent, because he's not. No, I'd never heard of him before Meghan came along. So, understanding that the book went to print some time ago and had the seal of approval from lawyers, etc., it would seem to me, and again, these are just my thoughts and opinions, so I don't want to influence anybody one way or the other, but this is how my mind thinks, that it had the seal of approval from Meghan and Harry back then, all that long time ago, of months ago. And that since between then and now, something has happened behind the scenes of which all of us are not aware yet. For example, it could be something like Netflix have officially dumped them but have not said anything, but they're going to. You know, it's going to come out. And then Harry and Meghan will be even more on a down foot. Or possibly a meeting with accountants where they've said, sorry, the money ran out, you've been living off credit, you've got to start paying it back. Or it's some sort of big thing has happened behind the scenes. Because 2 months ago, the PR was saying there's no way Meghan's ever going to go back to the UK. Meghan doesn't want anything to do with royal family. And that's changed to this last couple of weeks. She wants to go to Sandringham for Christmas. She wants King Charles to have a relationship with her children. Something drastic has happened behind the scenes, believe me. That nobody changes like, I think it was Daniela Elsa who said, what the dickens is going on with this screeching U-turn? You know, 1 minute they're finding freedom, escaping the palace, etc., the toxic British royal family, and now they want to spend Christmas with the toxic royal family and they want to build a relationship with them. So something has definitely happened. Now, the excerpts that I have read and parts of Omid's interview, talking about the Princess of Wales in particular. Charles and William, I think that their PR image is that they are big enough and tough enough, you know, they can take the criticism and, you know, they take it on the chin. Whereas Catherine, I think from a PR stance, a PR look, it's very, very bad. It does look like active, open bullying against Catherine. Omid is bullying Catherine with these persistent things he keeps saying. You know, she's boring, she's dull, we infantilise her, she's got a low bar. I mean, what's he talking about? She's played the piano in public on more than one occasion. in front of everybody and not put a foot wrong. I've never seen Meghan do anything except the rictus grin. Catherine does plenty. And it comes across as seething, pea green with envy, jealousy on Omid's part. And that also reflects on Meghan and Harry because they are associated with him. They cannot just disassociate themselves with this guy. It's gone down as a historical record in the Court of Appeal that they emailed and they helped him. And Harry actually said, we've got to make sure we can deny this in the future, which is horribly dishonest. Really, how embarrassing. Just unfortunate that Warby, that idiot judge, absolute idiot judge, allowed them off with the hook with the misremembering thing. Lying. I call it lying. Oh yeah, that book that was written all about us. Oh yeah, we did help with that after all. Yeah, it sounds like bullshit, doesn't it? So when Omid says, no, they haven't helped me, unless he says friends in common, is he talking about Marcus Anderson, the fairy godbrother, Marcus Sussex? Is he talking about that guy? Because he was photographed with Meghan recently. He seems to be a pretty constant thing in her life. It would be amusing to see Archwell, Meghan and Harry put out an official statement condemning Omid and his book as a pack of lies. That would be amusing. No one would believe it, but it would be Omid officially thrown under the bus publicly. That would be the icing on the cake, wouldn't it? But yes, it does come across as bullying. And of course, there are people like me who are firmly watching Meghan and Harry and in a disapproving way. There are equally fervent fans of theirs, the Sussex Squad, who Omid did talk about in Finding Freedom. He did congratulate and thank them for all their support. I think Harry made a reference to them as well in his book. And then there are like in-betweeners, just in-betweeners, who aren't really invested one way or the other. They're just passing witnesses. And I think to floating voters like that, to people who have not yet made up their mind whether they like the royal family or not, I think Endgame is going to throw them firmly in the camp of monarchist, definitely. So I think this is just yet another bullet in the foot. It's an own goal. They're literally slowly destroying. Well, not actually that slowly. I mean, it's day by day by day, isn't it? And then there are rumours Meghan's going to write a book to get her version across. And the royal family are just totally defenceless because they can't say anything. Catherine cannot say anything. And that's going to go down very badly as a PR look. Very, very badly. I actually found myself today reading about it and wincing on the part of Meghan and Harry. Do they not realise if Meghan thinks or perceives she was hated by the general public before this, I'll wager this book is going to make her even more unpopular. And Harry, the enabler. And Omid Scobie, of course. I mean, it's one of those situations where I feel I'm glad I'm not them. I mean, I've never wanted to be them. You know, when you see something happen to somebody else that's yikes, you think, I'm glad that's not me. I'm really glad that's not me. And I sort of have that, you know, as I'm reading it, my face is making this face and I'm thinking, yikes. None of this is going to reflect badly on the royal family, I don't believe, except with staunch Sugars and Sussex Squads. And a lot of people ask, why did we call them the Sugars? Well, that goes back a few years to the original sort of community. I think it was Murky Meg, because they were so sicky, sweetie, arse licky of Meghan, and they are the furthest thing from sugar. They are the furthest thing from sweet. And they're still out there. I saw one PR agent actually said, don't blame Meghan and Harry for being in the great big mess they're in and their reputation in tatters, which firstly I thought, well, of course it's their bloody fault. But then he went on to blame their PR and their followers. So the newspapers are starting to talk about the vicious, toxic fan base that they have. And what do you think members of the public are going to think who stroll by and see the death threats, including the one which is still pinned at my ex account, that they said they can't wait for the day they can put a bullet in mine and Graham's skull? That's a Meghan Markle supporter. Not very nice, even though they really unintelligently copied in the Met Police in their cunning plan to murder me and Graham. That's quite typical. that's quite a typical sort of death threat, one death threat at a time, not so much one act of compassion at a time. And all this toxicity and jealousy and negativity, it's all, you spray shit, it's going to come back and cover Meghan. And Meghan is going to end up like one of the, I don't know, after plastic surgery, go live on a desert island or something. Wear a hat and dark glasses every time she sets foot outside. I mean, Omid has really, with his poison pen, from the extracts, and no, I'm not going to buy the book, and I'm not going to give him money. I'm not. I buy a lot of books. I'm not giving this guy money. I will read it in the newspapers, and he's doing, his thing is, what do they call it, serialisation. So that's where the newspapers are getting it from. And apparently Meghan wrote to Charles about there being 2 racists in the royal family. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to buy that. She's like the little boy who cried wolf, liar, liar, pants on fire, isn't she? It's always she's throwing bombs, or she wrote to Charles wrote back to her. So is this a threat those letters are going to be made public? Well, I do believe there was a court precedent made, Markle versus Associated News, wasn't there, where somebody owns the copyright, so anything King Charles has written to her he will be the copyright owner. She will have absolutely no right to reveal any of that, will she? Presumably. Depends if Judge Warby's sitting that day or not. God, that guy's never going to live it down, is he? He's never going to live it down. He's just going to go down as Wanker Warby. Sorry to be crude, but he is. What an idiot. What an absolute buffoon. Oh, dearie me. So anyway, what do you guys think? I mean, I think that, as I said in previous videos, the screams tend to get louder as the end is nigh, and it's coming quicker. If I was skint, if I was in loads of debt, if I was at 28 million in debt, it'd be the last thing I'd want is some pal publishing a book calling the person that I want to borrow money off or I want to bail me out, calling them names and saying bad things about them. I'd be like, it'd be like sending a horrible letter to your bank manager, wouldn't it? Hey, dickhead, I've never liked you. Kiss alone. It's like that, isn't it? Part of me is smiling inside, actually, and loving every minute of it, because it's incredible. It's incredulous, isn't it? It's incredulous. Harry, I know, is a bit daft in the head. Meghan I wouldn't call particularly intelligent. I know some people do. No, I don't think so. But, I mean, she can't be that stupid. And as for Omid, oh, God, I mean, is he that stupid? Maybe they are. But, yikes. Anyway, yeah, thoughts, opinions, and I'll read them in like, I don't know, a couple of weeks when we get home. In the meantime, Graham is doing great. It's going to be a slow recovery. He's still in hospital. I was hoping he might have gotten released tomorrow, but I'm not sure about that. And neither of us want him to leave hospital until he is absolutely 100% ready, because the last thing he wants is to come out of hospital and then have to be readmitted. So he's tucked up there, nice and safe and secure, but it was quite a big thing, it was a big thing. He needs time to recover. But once he has recovered, there is one particular place that we both wanted to go in London to show you, and it's a bit of a secret London. It's probably one of the oldest parts of London, and is rather magical. And I really hope that he's going to be well enough. But we're only going to do that if he's feeling up to it. Probably use a black cab or something. Thank you very much for listening, as always.